as well.
So this is the first game of AM versus Secret in the East Asia ECL stage, and the 2v2 section anyway. And on the right side of the map, we've got Liereyy and MbL for AM. They're playing as the Chinese and Franks. And on the left side, we have Mongols and Chinese for the Viper and DauT. What do you think about the Mongol versus Frank component of this?
Kind of tricky, right? You always have berries close to your town center, so I love to have Franks there. And as you can see, he already sends 2 villagers on the berries quite early on. But if we take a look at what's happening in the center of the map, so many deers here to be taken. So both strong choices. I feel maybe in the long run, especially in castles, the Frank Knights could be a bit better than Mongols that lack a bit of the power spike in mid castle age.
Yeah, Franks have such a better transition, I think, than Mongols do. But at the end of the game, though, Mongols is a better composition than Franks, I think. So it's like they have different power spikes at each point in the game, right?
Yeah, but how
Mongols
many
are definitely
like?
quicker.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're at the start they're really good, right? So I love that as well. And yeah, you obviously wanted to mention the Mango Dice there, but well, how often do we see step games that go to 50 minutes and aren't decided yet?
Well, we saw earlier in the day, we saw Magadai from both teams, so maybe we'll get there. We'll see.
Okay. Okay, so Viper, the first one to up, will build the barracks kind of in the center of the map. Defensive woodline for him, quite far back, but it just could be somewhat exposed. We're expecting the typical scout and archer composition from both teams.
I find with this map, the more experienced players on it tend to protect their deer and expand, like build more mills than people who haven't played it so much. So I'll be interested to see who makes spearmen, keeps them like guarding their villagers at the mill. Or sometimes you'll even see small like walled in farming enclosures in the middle of the map because they really want to
Oh,
protect where their eco is. I saw AM
okay.
do that in one game and it was really effective.
Okay, I'm curious. By the way, very mixed strategy here from Team Secret. Viper went up with 16 villagers, DauT with 22, so big difference there. Viper will have a lot of map control, probably will get a lot of focus on himself, and then DauT will kick in with a very strong eco later on.
And Viper and Liereyy are really close to each other here.
First
Viper with a great
aggression.
early push with that scout. 16 villager up, and it's helping him out here.
Yeah, and just remember, since we are playing step and you only have a horse, not a real scout to begin with, the first scout is just so much stronger. But, well, you can easily get scared away by a spearman. Military count at the moment 4-1 at that single spot. Now 5-1. Lots of aggression here from Viper.
And Liereyy doesn't even have the archery range down yet. So a lot of delay. Very good strategy from Viper here.
Yeah, the very short distance really helping him out as well. Maybe Liereyy with going archers could have been a bit more defensively, but if we take a look at the map, there weren't that many good deers, at least to the left-hand side, maybe a bit more to the north, maybe closer to MbL, where the Viper's heading now.
So what is DauT's plan here? Just wall himself in the corner and go archers?
Well, that's the DauT thing to do, right? Second archer range, 5 gold, and just insult the opponent if you're getting doubled, or brag that you had the highest points at the end of the game.
So Viper, obviously, hopefully they're communicating. So Viper knows this. He's got to delay AM and make sure they don't hit DauT while his walls are going down.
Well, it seems like he has to be, or he looks pretty safe. And you mentioned earlier, the experienced team is expanding quite nicely, is having a lot of control, and is building more mills. The Viper, I can already see 3 mills from him. Lovely abuse here of the Mongols' hunt bonus.
MbL out-popped right now in terms of scouts in the middle, but those are Frank scouts. And he's following up with a spear, so well played by MbL to try and get some free hits on those scouts there.
Well, but not too much happening. Liereyy kind of stabilized, but he only has 1 archery range. Now goes on to some spearmen. The Viper already with the +1 defense on the way here as well. That's quite nice and early. Bloodlines, very much out of the question, I'm saying, but he's already sending villagers on gold.
Yeah, DauT's got to come over and help him, I think. I don't know how much damage he can do necessarily to Liereyy or MbL. I think he needs to come help Viper, especially since Viper has the +1. I think they can take that fight quite easily.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Viper can take this fight alone if he needed to. I don't really understand why he's sending so many villagers on gold at the moment. Dropping some food to maybe get bloodlines. And, well, DauT. I question why his fletching is so late. He has his blacksmith. Did he maybe forget about fletching? Liereyy has his for quite some time already.
It is DauT. So.
Okay, not really sure. Well, is he already thinking about going to Castle? He has a lot of farms, but no, 50 food. Might just be missing fletching. That's a big hiccup by him.
Yeah, that's so strange. He must have forgotten. There, it's coming in right now. Okay.
Okay, you heard us. The Viper has fletching any second, and then suddenly he has the HP advantage compared to the Frank's MbL, who isn't going for that many scouts, I wanted to say, but is at 13 military as well. At the moment, the Viper with the lowest numbers, but with the best upgrades for himself.
Yeah, that is an impressive feudal army there from Viper. Quite a lot of scouts, bloodlines, and +1. I mean, MbL doesn't have enough spears to defend against that.
Oh, we'll see. Viper trying to micro some. We didn't see a lot of losses for quite some time. I think we will have combined armies and then maybe big clash with all 4 players coming our way.
Here comes Liereyy as well. Viper and DauT definitely have the advantage here, though.
MbL no upgrades. DauT has +1 defense, so heavy upgrades here from the secret team. And AM boys, well, they are falling back and they are split up here. I don't really like the position for AM. They need to go back. They cannot take any fights at the moment. Need to group up and fight together.
If MbL can catch DauT out of position, maybe they can take this fight, but Viper's looping back around, okay? He's trying to cut off the archers coming from that archer range, get some free hits.
Did get 25 HP off that archer. Didn't really get any hits against himself and is now going back. This is kind of the calm before the storm here. Let's take a quick peek at resources. Who's maybe clicking up to Castle Age pretty soon? 300 food here for DauT. Viper already at 600
Viper
food.
looking good.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. And using the market now. Liereyy with 600 food. Maybe 1 or 2 villages more on gold could help out. MbL, he won't be too far off. So it feels like Viper might be the first. And the other 3 players following not too far after that.
MbL is also, looks like he's pretty scared of those scouts. He's dropping 2 towers on his woodline defensively. That seems really preemptive to me.
Yeah, and you don't really need that against scouts, right? He's maybe scared
No.
against the archers, but could wall the top so much easier as well. Even had some random house generations that are giving him some vision.
They have no idea where they are. They're hanging out near Lierey's base. Viper scouts are just looping around that way. DauT's archers are in Viper's base. Like, they have no idea where the enemy is.
Oh man, and that's never a really good sign, right? Now they see the scouts again. Might make them a bit happy. But well, still no idea about DauT, who's now up to Castle Age as well. Very little losses thus far, very little eco damage. That's why we see so similar villager numbers as well.
Yep, MbL getting foraging now, and I think this is where it kind of sways to the advantage of AM, because MbL does have Franks and Viper has Mongols, and we were talking about it before. Like, Viper, I think, had the advantage in Feudal Age because he was quicker, but now with those Frank Knights and he gets the farming upgrades, I think it's swings to MbL's favor.
Yeah, I think so as well. And some people might make an argument, well, Viper has the option to go for camels, but well, camels won't perform too well in the 2v2 composition.
He's into Viper's base before he can wall.
No, Viper around as well. We'll lose 1 villager quite easily. No reaction here from the Viper, and well, we didn't really talk about the pressure on both teams yet. Maybe we can do that in between the games. And, well, what I want to say, camels, not a good option here, because we see such a big amount of archers, soon to be crossbowmen, dealing heavy damage against any camel numbers. Liereyy upgrading, DauT still at home, Viper walling his TC in. Doesn't seem like a lot of losses, villager counts, so even military numbers. Well, Viper really falling behind, goes for +2 defense, +1 attack. That's not really the strength of Mongols.
MbL's got to be careful here with these scouts. I think you can be really annoying with them, and I think losing them... Okay, he's pulling them away now. I think losing them would be quite bad, because he could harass Viper's eco and be super annoying with those.
Yeah, I think with those scouts and all those HP they still have, you could even make an argument for attacking Light Cav once your first night production is over. But now finally we see some raids against some villagers here in the center. And you said expanding is quite nice, but if you don't have the full map control anymore, then it gets tricky.
And DauT going right for ballistics instead of adding those extra TCs.
I think he went for thumping as well, so full aggression from him. Viper dancing around as well. And we have solid numbers here, 33 crossbows from both sides. And DauT, he's charging in, has all the upgrades now. Liereyy still lacking the +2 defense as well. Not sure about thumping on his side.
You know, DauT's been getting upgrades, but he's been pretty hesitant to take fights. And is not really taking advantage of those upgrades yet. Viper's the one that's been charging in here.
DauT now trying to go for some kills, but Lierey's micro pretty solid here. Moves away, but he is getting some kills against Liereyy, and now the knights are closing down the distance. Liereyy with heavy losses, but Viper will lose all his knights in exchange for that. MbL
and Liereyy, they could trade okay here, but I think Liereyy probably needs to get out. Oh, he's gonna engage, okay.
Not a big fan of that apparently. Well, he cannot really move back, right? And DauT now with the solid KD here did eat quite a lot of those crossbowmen away. But as we said earlier, lots of eco for the secret guys. Sacrifice. DauT still only on 1 TC. Viper is now building TC number 3 on the other side. We have 3 TCs soon for Liereyy and MbL. He has 3 TCs already running for himself.
Yeah, DauT just got the second one up, so... I mean, it's a strong play to get the military advantage, but it definitely hurts your economy.
Maybe they feel with Mongols it's better to get into the long game, so they will just sacrifice a bit of eco, get a lot of castle pressure, and then guarantee themselves to get onto those elite Mango dice to carry them to the W. But they need to continue applying pressure at the moment. They cannot really find any loopholes here in Lierey's defense. Liereyy now forced to build his defensive siege workshop. Viper with the kind of late wheelbarrow, but still in a reasonable timing. And yeah, what do you think? How will the next 3 to 5 minutes look like here?
It depends if Viper sticks. If DauT goes too far in, he's in trouble. And Viper's gonna come support him now, okay. Because MbL had those knights just waiting for Viper's knights to leave, so he could trap the crossbows.
Oh, well, yeah. It is kind of dangerous territory. MbL now adding some more stables at this point. Viper stays on 2 stables for now. Numbers very high here for the Lord, but that's because he has 40 crossbowmen on the field. Quite a scary army if you look at the only 36 total military here for the AM boys.
Those are Frank Knights, though.
Well, Frank Knights and Mongol Knights in the end are the same, right?
Yeah,
if you have the same upgrades.
Bloodlines.
Okay, what else do we see? It feels like the secret boys are going back now. It kind of reminds me a bit of the 3-3 Arabia game against Suomi, the last stage, where they had big armies, didn't really go for the biggest engagements, danced a lot. And well, it feels a bit like Secret. They
Is
are
Viper coming
very
forward?
much... Oh, that's a lot of villagers. And that's a lot of stone for a castle, potentially. That could be some nice aggression. And,
On
well,
the
then I will
gold.
just take back what I wanted to say. Some raid in the back in the meanwhile.
If MbL's knights were in position, I think they could deny this castle, but he's in Viper's eco right now, and I'm not sure they can.
Didn't get that many. Some crossman here at the front. One mangonel of Liereyy. Kind of scary, but he's going back. Viper's now charging in at the front here. Viper's eco isn't looking too great. Oh, Woodlight! The light sign!
He tried to get that house wall down, but he just couldn't in the end. He's gonna lose. He can't afford to lose these villagers.
Oh man, that's pretty ugly for him indeed. And well, he only has villagers that can actually fit into the TC and the ones at the front. So heavy loss for him, going down to 66 villagers. And what is this castle accomplishing? Not too much at the moment.
Yeah, and Lierey's gonna click up soon. So if Liereyy gets a castle of his, well, he's not really, doesn't really have the stone for it, but if he gets a castle of his own, that one's gonna fall pretty easily.
Oh, look at that. Liereyy even deleting a farm to build a second good mining camp close by here. He really wants to get to that castle. And I assume he will get one out and will get trapped so much faster.
Okay, Viper's coming to support now. That looked like a risky engagement for DauT, and DauT can't afford to lose these before he gets to Imperial with the upgrades.
Oh, some mismicroing here. I don't really understand the first split by him, but it feels like all the upgrades are really paying off, having Thumpering here and doing quite a lot of jumping. He is getting a lot of kills, but obviously would have loved to wait to get them up to Arbalest, but they won the fight in the end with, well, somewhat of losses, but still enough to be scary once they get to Arbalest.
That was some pretty good micro after the first engagement from DauT. He went all the way around the knights engaging from Viper, ring around the Rosie, targeting MbL's knights, and got away with like half his army there, which is better than I thought.
Yeah, and now Liereyy is the one overextending. Look at that. He is down one upgrade. Viper could maybe come around with some army, not the most important thing. And DauT numbers are just so good here. Liereyy with heavy losses. I don't really know why.
Yeah, that seemed very unnecessary. Like, why?
Maybe MbL said, okay, I killed a lot of crossbows here. We can maybe get the kill here.
Viper.
Oh, okay, but that one shouldn't really go up, right? Mangonel around, crossbowmen, and they don't have any army presence here. I think that's it's a DauT castle.
It's a little risky, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little risky.
With the zero army in vision of your opponent, a little risky. Oh, I don't really like that the Viper is going for fletching now and building mango dice. I think rushing out an imp could have been way more important. Liereyy will get his castle out, and well, the most important thing is how will MbL try to defend against the Arbalest now of DauT, who's building an aggressive castle and more siege workshops. DauT will pressure heavily here.
MbL's eco looking pretty good though. 97 villagers. He's got more vills than DauT, and he's gonna be Imperial Age couple seconds now.
Let's see. Military numbers 23. Liereyy coming over. Interesting. Military numbers are just so sick. Look at that. 3 for the Viper, 65 for the Lord. And well, he's taking the fights. He will get chemistry shortly after Liereyy. Both lacking the last defense upgrade. MbL cannot even afford Cavaliers at the moment. So many farms idle.
There we go. Now Cavalier's coming in. DauT's got to be careful when that Cavalier comes in that he doesn't lose his entire army. I hope he realizes that Lierey's going to come over in this direction.
Well, Liereyy isn't the scariest thing, right? Good that he has a castle there. What can he do? Could he maybe switch into some halberdiers himself? Not sure what to advise him. Finally in for The Viper, is he getting more castles up? One very far behind. Wants to get onto his higher numbers. Some more pressure. Just feels like DauT against Liereyy and MbL at the moment, buying time for the Viper to get onto the transition and maybe get onto enough Mango Dice for later on. But then we have range against range Cavalier. Technically, AM with the better army composition, but if you lose all your farm eco before that, it's tricky to get onto Paladins.
It really sucks for Viper that, well, he did it to himself, but he's getting all the archer upgrades, and he's lost both of his production buildings for the Magadai.
Yeah, but one in the back now, not the highest numbers before that. Has 100 villagers though, and, well, goes on to some more stone. They're even starting to trade, found another stone spot there, so in the end, he can get onto more, but yeah, we heavily questioned both of his castles, especially for Mongols.
So MbL's been getting sling from, or a little bit of sling from Liereyy, and now he's clicked Paladin.
Ooh,
And
boy.
he saved all of these Cavaliers, and there's no way that those Arbalists can fight against that many Paladins.
Oh, yeah.
But MbL has to survive until that point.
Well, DauT just had 90 military. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was looking for the stable he was actually researching Paladin in.
It's the back one. It's
Okay, thank
somewhat close. If honestly, if the TC dies, the Rams, they don't really know where to go.
Oh, it's only 40%.
This could be bad. 2 Rams, they're moving
Oh,
in.
they're coming.
Dave, hold my hand.
No!
This could be so good for DauT. Oh, the
they're
Ram
hitting the farm.
focusing on the farm first. 51%. I think stable.
It's dead.
That stable is going down. Cavaliers
It's
are
a
moving
DauT
in.
Paladin.
Maybe they're taking the fight before that though. DauT not with the greatest placement. Even shooting one of the farms, not really good. Getting back here in time. Chukanu production, not really great. No elite Chukanu just yet. The stable will go
The Ram's gonna
down.
die.
Oh no, it's saved.
Oh my god.
500 HP on that stable left, all the Rams going down. It kind of costly timing for MbL, but DauT maybe overextending a bit here.
Look at the Magadai in
Chukanus.
the back too.
Yeah, DauT has been
Magadai in
so
the back of
active.
his base. Oh man, clearing up all of MbL's eco, Viper being so annoying, and Liereyy not really pushing Viper either, and now Viper has 2 castles
Okay,
making
well,
Magadai.
he will be set up somewhat, still lacking some gold. And, well, all the Mango Dice are trapped now. Oh, he has elite Mango Die already, so I missed that. Now the Paladin move in here. Can DauT hold this off? He has some nice numbers for himself. MbL trying to get behind the army. Will he have the numbers? It looks okay-ish for them. Oh, DauT, this is a tricky one.
This is super hard for DauT to fight here. Especially the way MbL positioned himself was very, very nice, and Liereyy following up behind. Viper's not going to be there in time.
I think it was good enough for Team Secret. Honestly, every single Paladin going down now cannot really be replaced. Look at that, 60 villagers for MbL. He has 10 military, super far away from ever getting trade. At the moment, he has 2 TCs. One just finished. He lost us so much army at the frontier. Production, let's take a look at that. Well, 4 stables, 5 stables. That's still enough. He needs heavy, heavy sling from his teammate.
Mm-hmm. And Liereyy can't really afford to push Viper side either, because he's got to defend MbL, and Viper now has 3 castles producing Magadai. It's going to get worse and worse for AM here.
Yeah, gets Masonry as well to get a bit more time. They're even starting the trade, lots of stuff going right for him. Maybe lacking some archery range upgrades here for the Viper. Did he ever get an archery range? Okay, getting Thumpering now. And Patriot Tactics after that, I believe. But how can MbL ever get onto some population again?
That's a good question, because he has to keep producing Paladin, and I don't think Liereyy can afford to keep slinging him.
Liereyy cannot really take fights. I think he should just kind of camp at the moment. But then camping and it just allows more Mango Dice to be on the field. Looks really good for Team Secret.
It's nice for AM that the place where DauT is pushing is so far forward. It's not even like it's at the halfway point of the map. So they've got space to lose before their trade line becomes endangered. They have a bit of time. but they need to make it
could
count.
you,
And DauT's
could
extending
you,
himself.
could you show me the trade line again?
Potential trade line, Nilly, come on.
Okay, potential trade line. Now we're talking. Okay, in the meantime, we have DauT getting some aggression against himself here. Rams are going down. Paladins at the right-hand side doing some nice clear up. Back to 27 military. Villager count went a bit down. Liereyy is helping out as good as he can. DauT maybe lacking a bit of siege. Viper so annoying with his mango dice though, and maybe soon he will be the one building some siege as well, and then gets really tricky for Liereyy to defend.
Yeah, and Liereyy can't even defend against these Mangadai that are coming into his space right now. He tried to put down a gate. That won't last very long. I don't think he has enough Arbalest there to deal with them. Maybe chase them away, but not kill them.
For now he's trying to make his bigger range count. We'll lose some more villagers. Trade card is going down. He's trying to fortify himself a bit more. A smallish problem is also he's kind of stuck on Arbalest. DauT already completely transitioned to Chukanus, which performs so much better against Paladins or Mango Dice.
Okay, so MbL is heading over to Viper's side with Paladins. And Liereyy actually has gold villagers north of those Mangadai. Oh, I don't know if they're going to survive very long.
Isn't that the spot where you maybe just right-click on the mining camp and just pray that they will drop some gold off?
Yep.
The problem now, MbL, yeah, he's coming over. Let's take a look. Age of Gate Pyres. Oh, didn't really finish. And the thing is, Viper, he can just run. He doesn't mind the double. He is the one dictating fights.
And DauT getting into the ideal Chinese composition. Chukanu, Bombard Tower, Siege Ram. And it's really tough to push this back if you're MbL.
Yeah. Kind of impossible. You need to get like 70, 80 Paladins again, but well, Mango Dice of Viper are now coming over. That's just beautiful team play. Viper's so active with all his Mango Dice now taking to Onages as well. That will be really tricky for Liereyy, getting some more raids at the front. The potential trade line is now becoming a real trade line, but it just feels like DauT's push might be too strong.
Yeah, DauT's going to lose quite a few Chukanu here, but with the Bombard Towers, they just provide that extra level of support against the Paladins. It just means MbL can't push farther than that area, even if he wins the fight.
Mango Dice in the center as well, and well, the GG here. Secret taking it. Liereyy and MbL, they built a lot of army in feudal age, couldn't really take the fights, and I cannot really tell how DauT got into so big numbers. The only guy playing like super defensively had an incredible eco, and yeah, just kind of carried by the very early time from Viper, and then DauT's eco just pushed him to mass amount of Arbalests. Or what do you think?
Well, he was never touched. So, I mean, if this is your game plan all along, you go archers into Chukanu, or into Arbalest into Chukanu, and you set that up from the beginning and your eco's never touched, I guess you can... Everything went as planned.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a beautiful game for kind of everyone, right? You just build one unit, not getting attacked. Your teammate is doing a lot of aggression, pulling armies away from you. Yeah.
I feel like MbL in the Castle Age didn't make enough knights. I think he didn't make enough. He prioritized eco too early, and then they couldn't take the engagements against the number of crossbows that DauT had with the upgrades.
Yeah, both of us didn't really understand the 2 defensive towers by MbL as well in his woodline, right? Did send some villagers on stone. He could have walled a bit easier at the top. And yeah, if they had a bit more map control, he could have had 3, 4 more villagers working on other stuff as well.
I agree.
Let's take a look at the achievements. And is that between game standings, waiting screen, statistics, right? Yes, right overlay. Proud of myself. So, what should I take a closer look at it? 88 largest army for DauT. That's strong. already starting to trade. MbL was a bit later there, and well, DauT with all the golden come. Massive amount of stone for Viper, who lost quite a bit of castles, but still got onto quite solid numbers for himself. 6 castles in total, 147 villagers. MbL never really reached pop limit here.
It was a good job from Viper to soak up that damage that MbL did, and then his eco just bounced back so fast from that. Like he was 20 villagers behind at one point, and then 5 minutes later he was 10 villagers ahead of Liereyy.
Well, yeah,
So,
he completely
well
stopped building army at the same time though. Yeah. And just let DauT do his stuff with all his paladins.
That's probably part of the plan though.
Yeah, yeah. They kind of switched each other. Like at the very start it was the Viper, then they had both armies, then Viper at early castle, and then basically DauT late castle, early imp, till elite Mangodai, and then finish it off. So I'm ready actually. So I will type that in chat. And then we are jumping into game number 2, Mount Fuji.
We're turning Japanese, guys. That's the song we need to play.
Then I will let you do the introductions again.
Welcome everyone to game number 2 of the 2v2 stage of the East Asia ECL section bracket, whatever you call it. On the left-hand side, we have the AM team, who's down a game and need to win this one to take it to game 3. They are playing as the Mayans and Indians, and it is Liereyy and MbL. On the right-hand side, we have Viper and DauT also playing as Mayans and Indians. What do you think about this map, Nilly?
In general, Mount Fuji, it feels like sometimes you can have really unfortunate gold spots. Look at Liereyy, for example. He has a defensive gold spots. None of the other players can really say that of themselves. Viper, very open gold spots, all of them in the center. So I feel it is really tricky to control gold spots. And this honestly might be one of the best maps I've ever seen here for Liereyy, that he has such a beautiful gold spot and he can really make something work with not taking too much damage here.
And I think did he signal his gold spot as well? I think
it feels like it, right? Maybe he was so proud. Like, look at that. Nearly might even comment on that, how good that gold is.
They're thinking the same thing as you, like, oh man, this is a treat. We get Mount Fuji and actually have a safe gold. That might dictate what his strategy is going forward in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes like Drush FC in this one. Doesn't really have a good stone spot though. Yeah, crossbows I heard are a pretty good unit.
I mean, Drush FC with mines is usually pretty strong. It's a solid strat.
Yeah, usually love to go for plumes. I don't really see that happening though. We will see. Also had some good deers, and we will take a close look. Very likely that we will see on the other side a scout rush from, well, both Indian players. Viper's map. He has defensive stone here, and we mentioned open gold spots. You kind of need to progress in the center area and get more access to all those extra gold spots and stone spots, and obviously the small hill. But yeah, kind of what we saw on step already, we're expecting.
Look at MbL being so annoying. He knows Viper wanted to drop a house, so he's running his scout over where the house foundation was. And it just delayed Viper an extra second. I love saying that.
Okay, and look at, that's a weird scouting by him. He's just instantly going back again. He will push deer. He just wanted to scout who he is against. And instantly ran back. That's kind of surprising to me. Normally you want to scout like gold spots, wood lines, and then decide your strategy. Maybe see, okay, he has a super open map, he needs to play this or that, or at least this strategy isn't happening. But he just wanted to see who he's up against.
So what do you
DauT.
think? What do you think the Viper does here in this situation with his safe stone and forward gold?
I wouldn't advise him, but that looks pretty much like a Drush FC to me.
Does he go into crossbows or does he go into plumes though?
If he has that stone, he has to go into plumes.
Yeah. The only problem is if MBL somehow denies the gold, he's out of luck basically.
Yeah,
But
and
if
that's
you
why
if
I
you're on
wouldn't
stone,
advise him for that. Yeah.
yeah, if you're on stone though, I guess you can take back the gold. If MBL like towers it, you can always castle it, but it's
I
rough.
think Viper might be somewhat playing the opponent as well. When did we ever see MBL going like full YOLO forward with a good civ like Indians in those situations? Basically never, right? If he was
Yeah.
against maybe like Back T, I think Viper would have played way safer here and wouldn't go for this most likely Drush FC play here.
Yeah, it's pretty much 100% Drush FC here. There's no, he's not clicking up yet, so he's not planning on man-at-arms. Walling up, even milling the deer. He wants to play it safe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still. If he got some aggression against him, but also if he's just playing against Indian scouts, it is somewhat easy to just wall the front and be safe, right? But where is he building his mining camp? I kind of wouldn't be surprised if he's just deleting that one house.
Well, he's making so many as part of the wall. You might as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure it frustrates him that his gold was in the position it is.
Yeah.
He built that starting house on reflex, and there he goes out to the stone. So definitely Drush FC into plumes.
Yeah. And we see Drush FC from Liereyy as well, but most likely into Crossbowman because his stone is just so much weaker. Meaning that we will have earlier military from Liereyy, but in the end stronger one from the Viper.
And DauT actually got denied off his barracks.
Yeah, and now sends 2 villagers from the side.
He deleted his it was at like 98%. Why delete it? What, you're gonna save 10 wood? What?
He's filling it in the back now, and well, make sure to close the gate here. Oh yeah, that rush is super efficient by Liereyy at the moment. DauT, he will lack some military, so it will be massive control here for AM running under TC. That's a lot of hits though. Liereyy taking quite a lot of losses here, at least when it comes to HP. Actually, those have way more HP than I thought. The arrow's not really hitting, and well, loses 1 in the end.
I think well, part of the Drush is just delaying, right? And look at how much idle time he's causing and annoyance he's causing DauT here.
Yeah, MbL now coming over with his scout. DauT, let's take a look at the resources, the HP on his villagers. Losing 1.
It's worth it then. If you get 1 villager with a Drush, and he
scout
got the
is
scout
going down
too.
as well. Oh, that's brutal. That's just brutal. Put some random houses in the back. Has a defensive mill as well. And DauT, he will have very little map control. The Drush of Viper didn't do that much in comparison. And oh, yeah, we saw the Viper deleted that house. Great move. Really like that. Just so much safer to take gold from like closer to your TC instead of having the mining camp more towards the wall and then the villagers a bit more exposed. Still the big question, how will DauT kind of stabilize here? Because those crossbowmen at early castle age, they could get nasty.
Yeah, you can mass them way quicker than the plumes. And you can mass them as you're going up to Castle Age as well. So Leary's going to have the initial advantage, but of course plumes are just, well, you know what plumes can do.
Yeah, probably one of the most cost efficient units in the game, and in Castle just so easy to micro as well. And yeah, you said that correctly, crossbow numbers. It kind of feels like, how many crossbows can you have? Like 8 to maybe even 10 before the first plume is coming out? So
yeah, and you're going to have the TCs up quicker too, because you don't have the vills on stone and you don't have the idle time building the castle either.
Yeah. Well, we will see. I really fear for DauT. His wall's not too great. Gold control.
Give me 1 second, Dilly. I'll be right back.
Okay. Gold control somewhat non-existent here. Look at that. Hate those walls. If he had the barracks up here, it could have made a bit more sense. But a single crossman can deny all that. And now goes for the market. Don't tell me he's slinging. Oh no, that's just so bad. Why did he build the market here? MbL instantly spots this. Should probably communicate. This is going to happen. Defensive Tower of Doubt, I really love that. And, well, now the strategy is kind of known, I'd say. It has to be a sling from Doubt.
If it is a sling, that's going to be really tough for MbL to stop. Or does Viper even go to MbL? Does he push Liereyy if it's a sling?
I think he needs to save Doubt first. There's not enough defense at the front. Those crossmen are now moving out. Scouts of Doubt are doing 0. And Viper, well, even if he gets 2 resources, I think this will be rough. But for now, Doubt is just showing the market. Maybe he doesn't go for the sling. No, he didn't sling any resources
by now, if he was slinging, right?
Or maybe the second tower is buying some more stone for himself. Is he building a tower there at the front? Okay, that's actually a beautiful move. That's probably the most vulnerable spot he had. That's such a clever tower.
Yeah, and the tower by the gold is a great preemptive tower as well. So there's not really many places Liereyy can hit here. Unless Doubt forages those berries, which I don't think he's going to do anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe send 3 villagers to the front to get the 21 food of those berries. But well, it's now in range of the tower. Can they be annoying close to the gold? Not really. This becomes a boom game. And then...
So now the power spike of Liereyy going for those extra crossbows, it's kind of been nullified here, hasn't it?
Yeah,
just because
absolutely.
Doubt with the tower defense.
Yeah. That's also true. And we said this is the tricky timing. Viper has his castle up now. Yeah, he's behind in villagers. Eco should be better for AM again. But, well, it's so easy for AM to overproduce army here. If you think about it. MbL, he has 2 stables. Already stonewalled a bit out front. So his boom won't be the greatest ever. And Liereyy only added 1 TC as well. I think they need to go into heavy booming here. And then try to have an advantage early imp.
Where do you hit here if you're AM? Like where do you go?
Well, it's all pretty well walled up, right? Left hand side for Viper, we see some palisade walls. You could have maybe, if you wanted to be super sneaky, like tower hops, not really palisade hops, some at Doubt space, but then you need to go through the TC. I think they didn't really have a good choice, and that really shows you how well Viper and Doubt read their maps, how well they could defend this.
So 3rd town center coming down from Liereyy, but I think Viper is gonna maybe make his 3rd soon as well. So the castle not setting him back too much.
Uh-oh! I just saw something on the overlay. MbL slinging Liereyy now. They like AM still doesn't know if Doubt is slinging or not, right? They saw the market, they saw 2 defensive towers, so they might think Viper is just on the way to imp as well. They didn't see any plumes. They have very little intel. And AM, well, yeah, they are showing all their cards. They're showing the scouts, they're showing all the upgrades on them as well. Did show the crossbowman, so Secret knows.
I like how MbL made the 2 stables, but then when he realized that they were fully walled and that massing camels wasn't necessarily going to work, he just kind of switched his strategy on the fly.
Yeah,
It's a nice
and
thing to see.
still showed 2 camels and did Bloodlines and +1 defense. So the Viper, he kind of has to be convinced. Oh god, this guy, he's kind of going for some aggression, which he isn't.
I think both teams are trying to figure out the strategy of the opposing team currently. Like it's not clear for anyone what's going on.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of RTS, right? You cannot see everything. You need to adjust as good as you have intel. 2 extra TCs here for DauT. He will go for the full boom. Liereyy, heavily on stone, will get his castle up. Only at 3 TCs at the moment. But he might get a castle up in the center area, and then he has control over so much stone here on Mount Fuji.
Yeah, he's pushing it a bit forward, so he's going to have 2 stone piles and a couple gold piles within range of that castle, but I bet you the second castle he puts up is right up on that hill there. So he'll slowly push forward and secure map position.
Don't you think that castle could have been more aggressively? They had so many crossbowmen here.
Yeah,
22
he doesn't, but
crossbowmen.
he probably doesn't want the plumes running in behind the castle to hit his eco, right? If you put it there, at least it's like vice between the TC and the castle where Viper has to run.
Okay. Well, DauT, by the way, also slinging some dance here by MbL, trying to dodge the shots, but couldn't dodge all of them. Both having ballistics here, Liereyy and the Viper. Thing is, Liereyy now needs to transition away from his kind of Arbalest tech. He needs to get onto plumes as well. I will change the overlay so that you can see how many resources we are already seeing slung here. MbL close to 3k, DauT close to 2k.
I like how Lierey's already making outposts and starting to stonewall farther out from his base, securing that map position. I'd love to see a team wall come up for both teams at this stage of the game.
Somewhat of a similar timing here between Liereyy and Viper as well, I'd say.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. And well, the big question now is, how will they continue this? It's basically like a Mayan mirror match now. You're just getting slung by kind of similar ecos here, 61 to 63 villagers, and well, we all know how that goes. Massive amount of plumes, add some siege ramps, and it's basically outmassing your opponent.
Yeah, and Viper's got the plume mass right now, and Lierey's gonna have to spend resources on upgrading to Arbalest too, which is something that Viper does not have to do.
Does he? Arbalest? Yeah, probably want to tech to Arbalest, but doesn't make me super happy.
You kind of need to, though, if you have 30 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's true. Thing is, Viper, with his position, it's just so much easier for him to attack the Slinger MbL than at the moment it is for Liereyy to attack DauT.
MbL needs some extra defenses here, whether it's even a few towers or a siege workshop or something. Because once Viper's in, if he gets in, it's bad news bears for MbL.
Well, he has 3 TCs for himself, 2 TCs for himself, and a defensive tower. Can, well, save some of those. Try to move out with 1 villager. Getting a monastery up here didn't really happen. And, well, both teams trying to get some intel here. The sling continues. Liereyy, the first one to go onto Rams, and Mayan's wars often are decided by the amount of Rams, not by the amount of plumes. Elite plume for both, chemistry for both, way better numbers here for the snake. Has roughly 6 more military and
Rams
just so
coming,
much
though.
better ones. Yeah,
Rams are on the way.
Yeah, but the numbers are a bit too low, in my opinion. Viper can still micro just the crossbowmen and the plumed archers down. But yeah, he sees, okay, that's a scary force. Let's fall back, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had some siege workshops himself now.
And Lierey's slowly making that line of castles towards the middle. It's going to be tough for Viper to push that position. But it's also tough for Liereyy to push Viper's position once he gets that castle up on the middle of the hill. It's kind of, it's a mirror between these two, and they're just ignoring the flanks.
Yeah, well, kind of makes sense, right? If you get the other plumed archer player down in numbers, you kind of won the game. And if you raid some, but your army is losing in fighting power, and you didn't gain too much.
So Lierey's getting more sling from, like, more resources in the bank from MbL. and DauT's building up his eco. So when does that shift?
Well, what's the difference for now? Resources received actually is only 500 better for Liereyy. So at the moment, well, if the secrets are buying a bit of more time for themselves, I think it's so much better for them now. With 20 more villagers on the side.
Why is it so low, this link from MBL, when his villager count is so far behind DauT? Was it just those few camels that he made?
Well, there's some camels, right? Bloodlines, +2 defense. Well, I think he only did +1 defense, right? Lost some villagers, walled a bit more. And, well, DauT is now kicking in with better numbers. Siege-Ram against Siege-Ram. The kissing begins pretty soon. Military numbers still way better for the Viper, who's now even getting some raids in at the left-hand side. Beautiful move. MbL now switching to Imp here. Why?
I guess he figures he needs to be in the game, and look at all the siege workshops that Viper's put forward, and Lierey's just built castles, and he's got to be really careful here, because if Viper can produce out of all those siege workshops, those castles are not going to last very long at all.
Oh, Imperial Camels will be added by MbL. Honestly, I think that's a big mistake. I think you just need to go for massive amount of Plume Ram here. Those camels, it will just take way too long till you get to the numbers. DauT is going up to Imp now as well, though, so maybe both of them are proving me wrong. And, well, both slum guys have 90 and 106 villagers. That's kind of okay for Mayans here. We don't really see too many raids. Liereyy trying to spread some off, but that's a scary push through the center from the Viper.
Yeah, the Rams coming forward, and Liereyy doesn't really have much of a response to that, does he? He's going to lose at least a castle here, if not all three.
Yeah, all three is basically game then. How are the military numbers so out of this world? 90 military here against 45, and well, Rams are not really doing the damage. Seems like Liereyy splitting off some plumes didn't really help him out either. Liereyy needs to fall back. Imp Camel switch isn't really coming in time. Even going for Hazas here, or what is that? Yeah, even Hazard attack for MbL, that's even doing less.
That's really strange that he would tech into light cav. Why? Is he just trying to be a counter to the Rams? The plumes are going to kill those light cavs so fast.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is simply feels wrong. If he just sent those on wood, maybe he felt like he didn't have enough control over his gold spots, as we mentioned earlier. But still, like, then Liereyy needs to expand and get the gold spot in the center, and you just need to sting him with woods that he can get more Rams. Now it feels really GG.
Yeah, and MBL's only got those two stables in the back, and look at what DauT has in the center here. He's going to have enough camels once he gets up to Imperial Age. He's going to tech up right away.
Yeah, he has the resources as well to tech to Imp Camels any second after that. Upgrade obviously takes some time, but that should be fine. Liereyy, well, he's holding for now, but only at 2 castles. The Viper at 3 at the moment. MbL's KD doesn't make me too happy either.
It's not the greatest.
Okay, so what can Liereyy really do? On its attack, not really an option. MbL did 1 mangonel. Let's take a look at that shot. Didn't even kill a single plume. Lost his life in exchange. Castles are getting pressured. Liereyy, he needs to get really creative really fast.
They might call it GG as soon as they see these camels coming in. Once DauT gets heavy camel with that, that's really tough for MbL to get out of his base as well.
Yeah, it's simply no gold control for them. Trade is not really running, and well, it just feels like if Liereyy loses this castle, it might be over. Heavy camel upgrade now finished. Imp Camel could be around the corner here for DauT. Let's take a look. Yeah, upgrading that, and that should just shrek Liereyy, and the GG timing is very near.
There it is. Well played by Secret. I think Viper, they were up to Imp at the same time and similar resources. Viper obviously had an advantage because he went into plumes earlier. He had a higher population, but I think the way that he built out his production buildings was smarter than the way Liereyy did it. Liereyy had 2 castles on the hill, no siege workshops. Viper had 5 siege workshops on the hill with his plumed army behind. So he
Mhm.
had the rams out in front, and Liereyy had to go all the way up the hill with his rams to get them into the fight.
It just was so weird. Like, DauT kind of showing the market, kind of expecting the sling, and, well, crossbow scout couldn't really do the damage. Very clever tower number 2 by DauT, saving him here, and Viper with the kind of good map. Maybe a bit more pressure early on. If Liereyy, for example, went for Viper instantly, early castle, they could have denied maybe that castle, blocked that gold spot, and could have been really, really annoying against Viper. But yeah, distances are long, it's a long risk. It's tricky. And map's too good, and that's what you mentioned earlier. No real intel for both teams. Kind of a gamble.
Mm-hmm. And Secret played it. I think AM was trying to catch up to Secret's strategy that entire game, and Secret was just following their game plan. So you never want your plan dictated to you by the other team. And that's what happened.
Oh. Fields AM man. And we are taking a look at the statistics. MbL, well, he got some more kills in the end. And Viper just better KD there against Liereyy. Also got some kills against MbL. Let's take a look. Overall sling, very even. So that wasn't really the deciding factor. It was simply that the Viper just had some more gold control compared to Liereyy and got his resources a bit better on the map there with the early rams and simply more efficient plumed archers early on. DauT didn't do too much with his early uptiming. Let's take a look. After he went feudal, took quite some time to get really a lot of army for him out.
What did he make? Like 3 scouts?
I think so, yeah.
Did they do anything? I don't think they did
Um,
anything.
I know that some of them were still around in mid castle. So maybe scouting, maybe some map vision, but yeah, they were at the left hand side. Tried to get in at MbL, but couldn't.
Well, to be fair, remember his barracks, he had a DauT barracks. It got to like 98% or whatever it was. I'm still salty about that, man. I can't believe he deleted that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So, then we're jumping into the last series of today, Frantic against Vietnam. Should be a really interesting one with, well, players that we haven't seen in this tournament yet.
So how do you think Stark is going to fit in with ACCM?
Oh, I would be surprised. Like, they cannot really use TeamSpeak or Discord or like any voice chat, right? So I'm really scared for them when it comes to those maps because they're so important when it comes to let's organize a team wall, let's organize some team strategies. Where are you? Let's move here. I'm making the tech switch. It's so easy to misinterpret what your teammate is saying. I'm doubting that their team play will be on par with Frantic's.
I agree with that, and this might sound a little bit weird, but I think I think in a situation like that where you might have a language barrier and your teamwork might not be the greatest and you know that going in, maybe you just each of you just plays to your strengths, right? Like maybe ACCM just YOLOs and Stark just walls up in a corner somewhere. And maybe it works.
You try to YOLO more than Frantic?
Well, it is ACCM, you know? He's on the same level of YOLO as the Frantic guys. And Stark is definitely a master of securing his area, let's call it that.
Okay. Well, I'm curious. I gave the go, Dave, and we're starting into this last best of 3 series. Starting off again with Step, then we have Twin Puddles and Mongolia to potentially end the series.
Welcome everyone. We are in the game 2v2 East Asia series between VNA and Frantic. And on the right side of the map, we have Liereyy+MbL, also known as Vivi, and Tim. They're playing as the Chinese and Spanish. And on the left side of the map for Vietnam, we have Stark and ACCM, and they are playing as the Chinese and Ethiopians. What do you think about Ethiopians, Nelly?
Well, I love that crossman and I love the transition, but you kind of feel that they could have been better on another map. I don't mind that too much. Like, what were the other choices? Mayans? Well, you have a villager more, but you kind of want to save them.
Franks? Mongols?
Franks. Well, Mongols, better eco. Franks, more map control. Maybe it just felt like, okay, if we pick Chinese, and ASM felt like, okay, I'm a good Chinese player. He's the guy who also plays Chinese on Bedouins, for example. He wanted to go for knights. Then they needed to go for another archer-tiv. Questionable, I think. Yeah. That's something we probably need to ask the players. I think it's not the best choice.
Do you like the Spanish on this map? I like them a lot from what I've seen, but I know there's mixed opinions on like how effective they can be. I guess if you're Tim, you can make the Spanish quite effective.
Well, what can he not make quite effective, right? He's just so good with annoying your opponent, and his spot is also so nice as well. Directly close to the stone. He has another defensive stone there later on. Well, screw up his boar lure for now, and this could just get so ugly if he goes for maybe tower aggression followed up by Kongs.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that quite a few times on this map, and it usually works quite well with Spanish. I like how Stark TC'd the woodline. You don't see that too often, but if it's that close, you might as well, right? You go up against that solid woodline, TC the gold and the stone. It's a really good placement for him, especially if he's gonna go for more, let's say, defensive style this game.
Yeah, the question is, if you are so far back, can you maybe even justify going Castle Age? It will be really tough to pressure him, right?
Yeah.
But he's super far away from the deers as well.
Yeah, it's also hard to justify going out to the deers. That's the second thing, right? You're going to be a bit delayed because if you go out there, you're so exposed.
No.
We'll see.
Tim doesn't have the greatest deer either. The moment it feels like ACM even going for berries here. That's kind of weird. You never want to go for berries first, even though they're closer. They're slower and they're easier to protect in the long run. Not a big fan of that. And Stark, well, he needed to build quite a lot of farms if he wanted to make the fast castle happen. Uh-oh. Well, Vivi is doing Vivi things. Starting to wall the whole map.
I've never seen that before.
And it's not even CL playing for them, right? Could have been even crazier.
See, like, Frantic players, most people would see an empty field, but Frantic players see a joke point that they can wall. They're like, yeah, we can wall that. Yeah, no problem.
They see a fulfilling day for their villagers.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, he starts nice and early. We'll have a very protected woodline and gold here. So archers could be pretty nice for him. And, well, didn't really sacrifice too much of an uptime problem here. 925, 931. So that's pretty sweet for them. ACM, quite surprised that he isn't clicking up yet. Should be clicking up any second. No. And the big question is, what is Stark up to? Feels like something in feudal age here. Didn't add a single farm. Walls himself quite tight. Completely ignores the deer.
Yeah, so is ACCM though.
Yeah, but is that how you want to play the map?
I don't know, but is Tim coming forward to take more deer, or is he coming forward to... He's coming forward to tower with these villagers, right?
Yeah,
ACCM with that forward barracks too might be in some trouble here.
Uh-oh, you just called it a DauT barracks. But yeah, this one seems to be not that intercepted. ACM now moves out to the deer, and Tim indeed is tower rushing. Let's take a look how he's following this up. Even takes 6 villagers. Vivi with his horse around, and ACM, he has zero idea. Problem is, he cannot really scout the stone spots either. Think his horse is just completely out of position.
Yeah, what does he see here? Doesn't see anything.
Well, luckily he sees the first tower going up. Tries to wall the left-hand side. Stone is pretty open to the front. Has a defensive stone line where he's moving on to now. So will be somewhat safe. But yeah, his food will be extremely exposed.
So he's making a stable now. If he could... Oh, Tim's already walled up his wood line. He's got the villagers near the stone. He can't really hit Tim's eco with those scouts. And he can't really hit the forward villagers with them either. Like, how does he defend against this?
Maybe it's just not doing damage, not taking damage, and just having the better eco because your opponent has 5 villagers on stone working this whole time and 6 aggressive villagers. So that's kind of a potential quote-unquote counter to tower rush. Just have the better eco and not take any damage.
Run. Yeah. Keep moving.
Well, yeah. Static defense. Okay, let's take a look. Villagers quite low here. Should not lose any. Tries to micro back. That's the first loss. And losing a lot of villagers already. Will not get his defensive tower up. And loses.
Look at the walls from Stark.
Oh boy.
Told you, man. A corner. He wants a corner.
Oh, what is this? Oh. Okay, early fletching by him. Now starts to farm. Didn't really get a lot of pressure against him and Vivi. He will just help out with his scouts so well. And now sees the villagers of ACCM. I think those 5 villagers should not have moved out. I think they should have gone home and built farms.
Now he's got the spear there, so maybe he can take out a couple scouts. He's got scouts of his own. He's killed one. He's surviving.
That went pretty well for him. Killed 2 scouts without a single loss.
Yeah. Migrate.
Okay, well, let's take a look. Maybe he goes further towards Stark because he didn't take his deer. I think in the long run he should lose those villagers. But yeah, I think it's too risky. I think ACM will lose them. Oh, Tim. Some walling and stuff here at the front. Big engagement in the center. Vivi now adding a spearman of his own, is getting kills against all those scouts, and I think the
Stark
is still
in
fine,
the middle
right?
with his archers underneath that tower from Vivi. And Vivi's gonna... Okay, garrison him just in time. Thought he was gonna lose a villager there, but well played from him.
Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, still has one very low, loses some HP. Oh no, ACM is losing some HP on his scouts. What is that? 6 archers +1/+1 from Ethiopians. That's not so easy to clear up, especially if you have low HP scouts in there.
The villagers are coming out now. The scouts are taking a lot of hits from that, especially with the way the archers are positioned. Decent trade, I think, from Stark there.
I think so as well. Didn't
There's
take
a couple
villager.
weak villagers there too.
Oh yeah? Maybe bruising them for the second attack. Is he getting a villager? Yeah, that's totally fine for him. That was, I believe, 3 scouts, maybe even 4 scouts, and a villager, and a spearman. That was pretty good, and now he's sending in the next group. Stark, he's doing some damage.
Yeah, and I mean, Tim is still pushing into ACCM, but credit to ACCM, he's defended okay. I wouldn't say he's defended perfectly, but he's defended okay from that. And now he's losing the villagers in the middle. That's not good for him.
Kind of as we have foreseen, right? Oh,
he's so busy with the tower rush, he doesn't notice, yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. Miking there, well, he's trying to fight off some... Oh, Tim is now chasing down with villagers as well. He heard of some fighting over here. He's coming over.
Stark denying the market from Vivi. Classic play. Market denial.
What
He's
is...
gonna YOLO it.
He is kind of YOLOing it. Oh, Stark is now YOLOing under the TC. Oh no, he isn't.
Vivi still hasn't gotten that market up, and he lost a villager. Oh my goodness. That's so annoying, right?
Okay, now he's rushing out more villagers. This is just so wild. Why is he trying to get that one up? Well, if you look at his resources, yeah, just had way too much wood for sure. Can click up any second now, so that's good for him. And let's take a look at the other players. ACM, deep in feudal age. Tim, he will click up in 1-2 minutes. And Stark is clicking up any second, even adding more archery ranges for himself.
Interesting.
Oh, and Stark, he could get a lot of damage done. Oh no, but that's the thing. Like Stark, if only he knew where to attack now. Oh, I think that's the wrong spot. If he ran straight to the wood line, he could have gotten so much done.
Yeah, and this gives time for Tim to drop that defensive tower. And there's nothing Stark can do here now. How did that tower get there from Tim in the back of ACCM's base? Where did that come
as
from?
Well. Oh, he went in there, had an outpost, and just felt like, hey, it's time for a tower again. But it seems like he didn't get anything done with that, right? Well, he forced a lot of idle time. That's for sure.
I want to know why Stark is behind on villagers. Did Vivi not get wheelbarrow? Or did Stark just forget
Stark
to produce?
has wheelbarrow. No, Stark has wheelbarrow. And let me spot some villager. Vivi has wheelbarrow as well. Well, maybe it's just Chinese against Ethiopians, right? You have more villagers. He just built the TC instantly. Maybe it was 3-4 villagers ahead. Yeah, that shouldn't really happen. I think he didn't lose a single bill. And killed some. This is weird.
Yep. Yeah, Vivi lost 2 villagers. I love what Stark's doing in Tim's base. Oh my god, how annoying is that?
Yeah.
Stand ground at every angle. That's a smart play.
Tim going for some migration, and he's not really getting that much gold. Okay, now he sold some. And yeah, one knight will clear it up though. We've even sending double the numbers, and that might be a very aggressive castle coming up pretty soon. Tim heavily on stone still.
Vivi has got to be careful because these are crossbows with Bodkin in the back of his base, and it won't take them very long to get in that palisade wall.
Oh yeah.
He's got to notice this quickly and react to it quickly.
Well, tricky to wall this off. What is stuck? Oh no, now he's attacking another one. And another one.
No.
He just attacked 3 different palisades.
Toss away his advantage there.
Now knights could be grouped up. Instant Siege Workshop isn't even breaking through.
Still, I don't think Vivi can fight this with his knights yet. He needs quite a few more. These are Ethiopian crossbows.
Oh. Yeah, agreed. Especially without +2 defense, it gets really tricky. Vivi already losing some HP as well. But how is Vivi now really pulling ahead in villagers here? Has his TCs running for himself. Nice knight numbers. Is trying to attack ACCM now, even running under the TC. And those villagers in the wood line, they seem to be protected, but actually they aren't.
Stark has crossbows over near ACCM space as well. If he gets the other 5 over there, can he... I don't think they can deny that castle, not with the 2 knights there.
Spanish castle, 4 towers around as well. The 2 knights buying some time. The castle will go up. ACM will lose his CC eventually, but will obviously get to castle age. And Tim, well, those have to be some annoying conquistadors. The tower will go down at the front there. It will be really tough for ACM to defend this.
And the knights in ACCM's base are the biggest deal because the castle's at the front. You can't really garrison in the TC to take care of them. And the towers aren't doing much damage to them either.
And, well, let's come back to the chief choice. Stark, if he had a more mobile civilization, if he maybe had... well, knights himself now. Maybe something with the mobile unique unit, such as Spanish or Mayans here. Could he have done more?
Credit to ACCM though. A lot of players would have been completely dead in his situation right now.
Yeah.
I think he's done well for defending, and he's even dropping a second TC here to the left. Well, he kind of has to, because the first one's gonna die soon. But
another defensive castle, defensive TC for him now. Might want to get a castle up, and now conquistadors are running in. And trust me, Tim, with those conquistadors, that's just so ugly to play against. Send some villagers in the TC, but should have well too low of HP now to really garrison them.
Stark has got to be very careful in Tim's base, because there's a lot of potential death rolling his way right now. Uh-oh.
Potential death, you call it. I say highlight scene. Now the first big good hit, and we'll get a second one to finish this off. Not a single unit died in exchange, and Stark isn't even taking care of his... And he's trapped! He's trapped there! Dave! This could be so bad. It's a trap! I get my Admiral Akbar t-shirt. And Knights, I think they shouldn't really chase this down, because they are kind of free losses now. Indeed, just run back. You have two Mangonels there. Communicate well. It's one of Tim, one of Vivi. Both shooting in the center. And that's actually okay. It's done by Stark.
Well
Get some damage against the Knights.
You can
Stark.
do it.
Oh, will be tricky. More dodges. Kills one Mangonel. Stark. Oh, that's a heavy one though. Some micro here. The question is to finish down the Knight. That's very low HP. The one Knight can just shoot through all of them now. Some more dodging. Is Stark winning this one?
No. It was so close, Nilly. I thought it was gonna happen.
ACM coming over with the camels to revenge. And yeah. In the meanwhile, we had Tim just going ham in the base of ACM, having his fun as well. Everyone should have fun, right? It's a game.
Look at the spec overlay right now. What's coming in?
Hand card for Stark. Sick.
I'm talking about Imperial Age. Come on, give me a break.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad.
It's pretty quick. Considering he just lost his entire army.
3 archery ranges working for him. Should have a solid food eco.
And he's not walled. He's not fully walled.
Well,
they're looping around.
Well, he should be able to defend though, right? If he goes back with the crossbowman. Oh, Age of Gate Pyres, but won't be in time. Will it be in time? Are you kidding me? If he getting the right one? No. Okay. Nothing happened here.
That's so annoying as a player. You just send your villagers out to wall, and that's when the enemy appears.
Yeah.
1 second too late.
Okay. Well, they see University and Monastery in the back now, so they should know this guy is up pretty soon. Crossbowmen need to go back and try to defend Thumbring on the way. I guess Ballistics is already researched here. Yeah, looks like it. And... oh no, maybe not. No ballistics yet. Didn't really have the gold. Okay, what's the plan for ACM now? You cannot really boom. You cannot really build an army. And Stark, well, he wanted to be really aggressively in the face of Vivi now, instead of trying to chase down and play defensively.
If you're ACCM, you probably really want a castle, but he has no stone to go to get one. Oh, he has enough stone for a castle. Okay.
Yeah.
So he did collect all of it in his base, and...
well, so that's some. So Vivi is going for the cavalry attack. Tim is staying on conquistadors, getting a nice kill here against ACCM's 30C. Another aggressive tower. And that will be, well, a lot of dead villagers here for ACCM for sure. Stark, he needs to get a lot of kills done very quickly. Don't really see that happening in the near future though.
if he can distract Vivi long enough, and if ACCM cannot die for long enough, maybe
Uh,
they have a shot to get back in this. But Tim's being super annoying with ACCM trying to drop this other TC here and trying to move out to the left-hand side. Just keeps denying it. And he's going to tower him into his own little trap.
yeah. Those are two ifs that I don't really see coming, right? Stark, very immobile, needs to go back with his army. Yeah, he will get some kills, but not really getting the pressure in the center that he wanted to get. Will stay on Arbalist, and, well, if Vivi feels like, okay, Mass Cavaliers aren't doing the deal anymore, he could even switch into skirmishes, but for now, he's the one pushing even.
And Stark still with no ballistics. Huh.
Well, and that's weird because he just saw chemistry, right? So he just clicked chemistry, so he should have seen.
I don't think so.
That he has
Maybe I'm wrong,
ballistics.
but I don't think any of those arrows hit. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't have ballistics like 2 minutes ago. Thing is, maybe people are so fast clicking the upgrades. For example, I know Liereyy, he clicks the upgrades kind of without really seeing them. So he could click chemistry and not see that he does not have ballistics.
Ooh,
Pretty
ACC,
sure
I'm
about
trying to
Starks.
drop that TC, and Tim actually researched guard tower just to delay him even more.
Oh,
That's so
is it
annoying.
really delaying more?
Well, it's delaying him pushing out more. It's not really delaying the TC more.
No. Onager tech now
Onager
even from
coming in.
Vivi. Oh.
Mm.
Where's the army of ACM, of Stark at the moment? Very grouped up. Massive amount of resources for him.
He's only got
But
25 Arbalists. He should have more.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Well, he went in with 68 villagers. We said it's very early. It was so early because his eco wasn't that great.
Finish the wall!
Oh,
Oh no, there's a hole!
oh, looks like my game against Frantic. Feels nilly man. And, well, that's pretty ugly. He didn't have a lot of villagers for himself anyway. And now the Cavaliers are just swarming in here and, well, he didn't have high numbers and it will just be so tricky to get higher now.
Yeah, if you're fighting against Cavaliers, you want to fight in a choke point somewhere or near your castles or somewhere defensible, right? You don't want to fight in your own base in a wide open area.
Oh man, losing his castle at the front, and yeah, that's so true, what you said. You want to dictate the fight, and Cavaliers now dictating the fight themselves. And that's just the problem of Ethiopians here. They didn't really get onto that beautiful position. DauT, he had just the earlier transition there with the Chinese better eco and was just earlier. Ethiopian, yeah, they're stronger, but just so slow to get onto the nice numbers. But now a pretty good fight here for Stark. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, you think Vivi should have. I think Vivi should have just run around the base a bit more and delayed him.
Yeah,
Kept
why does he
him
take that one?
running around while he pushed with the Trebs on the other side. It's curious to me that he would lose his whole army and decide to pick that fight underneath the TC there.
Yeah, well, the TC wasn't really the damage dealer, but Halberdiers, very
It was
clumped
the
up
choke point.
Arbalest. Yeah, so nice. So exactly what you said should not happen, happened. And, well, Vivi, what is he going for? Okay, some expansion here. He's at the solid pop 160 and now switching into Chugunus as well. Uh-oh, but Tim up to imp. ACM, 600 food, 1,000 gold.
He's
This
fine.
would be really tricky. Oh.
He's fine, man. Come on.
I say GG timing before 44 minutes.
And now Bombard Cannons going down from Stark. Those are very expensive. Can't afford to lose those.
And he did. And, well, questionable Civ. Stark, just very far away. Didn't take any damage. But you simply saw the difference, right? DauT didn't take any damage. They had a better team play. Obviously, ACM never had the chance to really get onto Scout and play the kind of standard meta clean game. And just felt like Stark, with that way of being untouched, wanted to see more from him, right?
Well, I think maybe he underestimated. Like, when we were looking at the difference in villagers, they were going up to Castle Age, him and Vivi at the same time. and you said it might have been Chinese. It might have been the fact that Stark never touched the deer at all in the center. So Vivi lost like 2 or 3 vills, but at least he was on the deer, and he probably harvested like 8 to 12 deer, where Stark had 0. He was on berries really early.
He still has villagers in the center here. I can count 4 mills in the center. So, yeah, he got just so much more free food. Yeah, very true.
GG.
GG. And ACM with only 16 kills, kind of cornered, not much he could really do there. The villagers, it is just so tricky. Tower rush. I honestly felt the horse was simply at the wrong position. He needed to be between himself and Tim to see if we are getting towered. And he was kind of behind Tim's space. Yeah, and didn't scout anything. And therefore, no great reaction.
He had to know he was going to get towered, though. Like, you have to know that. If you see Spanish, you have to know that. And you see Tim. Like, it's not a surprise, right? I guess you just can't react right away when he places it down.
Well, maybe then you can pull more villagers, but still quick walls are possible. Question is, how much does it lag? China, Vietnam, Brazil. If you pull the villagers. Well, kind of tricky. Now I'm excited for Twin Puddles. I'll say we're ready. Whereas Baek-T, I think he can only play so many times, right? He already played one 2v2 stage. Maybe they wanted to play another one. You cannot have your best players play every single stage. That's why we see a lot of diversity in players and civilizations and strategies. Same here on Twin Puddles, still with Mr. Dave.
And it's still between Vietnam and Frantic. On the right side, we've got the Frantic team, Tim and Liereyy+MbL, also known as Vivi, and they're playing as the Slavs and the Huns, 2 very strong land civilizations. And on the other side, we have the Vietnam Legends playing as the Mayans and Japanese, 2 very versatile situations. Were also very good when you combine water, especially with the Japanese.
Yeah, and speaking of water, this is the generation where everyone kind of has the same access to water, and you really need to contest it. Vivi, very short distance though, that's nice for him. Stark, somewhat close. We see Tim with a longer distance, but you kind of are forced to contest those pawns. If you just let your enemy fish there and just try to play something on land, that doesn't really work.
It's funny how it matched up here, because I think Huns are better than Mayans on water, but Japanese are better than Slavs on water. So we'll see if the teams decide to both dock the same pawn, or if they're both going to their separate pawn and are going to fight on water with the other team. Should be a nice matchup on both sides.
And completely different civilizations as well. Tricky to really decide on what strategies you want to go for. Maybe the Han just contests water, especially because he's so short. Tim, maybe with his long distance, can he just go for only scouts? I think going for a lot of feudal age aggression on both water and land is the answer. And then I feel Frantic's team play should just be so much better.
I mean, if you're Stark as Japanese, you need the water. So as soon as Tim sees that, he's going to know that Stark, like, Slavs, maybe you could give it up early and transfer into those OP Slav farms. And civs like Huns and Mayans can get by without it. One of Japanese key advantages is their fishing ships, right? So
yeah.
And Stark has to be sure to wall this villager. Okay, got loom. Nice.
Well, no wolf as well, so that's good for him. ACM is sending a villager out. Vivi also, and well, Tim now sending one out as well. Quite late though. Look at that. He was